All right, welcome to the Bangor Daily News Sports Show. I am Adam Robinson with my co-host and co-worker, Larry Mahoney. Larry, thanks for coming on. We're very excited to start this thing.
Yes, we are. Something different, something brand new.
Right, and we don't know how this will go, but we're trying it and it'll evolve over the coming weeks. But we're going to try to kind of dive in a little bit to high school sports and what we've been covering the last week or so far. We're only a week in, a couple games in to most seasons. Larry, let's start with you and the Bangor and Cheverus girls game that you covered last week on opening day, I think on Friday.
It was, and it was a game that could be a precursor to the final, the Class AA North final, although Oxford Hills will certainly have a huge say in that with Sierra Carson and Ella Pelletier. But yeah, Bangor beat Cheverus. They got up by as much as 20, wound up winning 52-44 at Redberry Gym. And again, Cheverus has Maddie Fitzpatrick and Emma Lizotte. Maddie is a sophomore last year, was a first team All Bangor Daily News schoolgirl player. And Emma was second. Emma's 6'2", 6'3". Maddie is about 6 feet and going to University of Maine. And they were matched up against a second teamer, all-Maine second teamer, and point guard Emmy Streams, who will be joining Fitzpatrick. Fitzpatrick will actually be joining Emmy Streams. Streams will be going to Maine next year. The point guard, and Abby Quinn was an honorable mention, the post player. Both are seniors at Bangor. The Lizotte and Fitzpatrick are both juniors. And, it's one of those games where, Bangor just really played very, very well. And people, I think, Bill Goodman, the Cheverus coach, mentioned that people don't realize they lost some quality seniors. When you have two studs like Fitzpatrick and Lizotte, you think, oh, they're all set. And they are going to be. They've got a couple transfers from South Portland. And so it's going to take them longer to develop than it would a team like Bangor, which is senior late.
Yeah.
So Cheverus made a great run. Fitzpatrick and Lizotte each had 7 points in the fourth quarter. So I think you're going to see Cheverus. Cheverus is going to be a lot better at the end of the year once they integrate the new players. And between the two South Portland transfers and other players that didn't play hardly at all last year, it's going to be a work in progress. But again, when you have two players like that, I mean, they're going to be right in the mix. And with Bangor, the same thing. Now, Bangor had two players, Mimi Quinn and Lily Chandler, decided not to play. They're juniors. So that left a big void for them. But, they've got players like Emily Adams, Carmen Maddox. They've got a lot of supplemental players. So, so it's going to be interesting. I think those two are very much going to be in the mix. And then the other game we'll be looking at tomorrow will be the Old Town Herman game, girls game. That's the rematch of last year's Class B North final, won by Herman. So I'm really looking forward to that. Both teams were hit hard by graduation, and so they're going to have to reinvent themselves. So, that's what's going on pretty much in the early going. Great to have the season going, and it's always nice to see a game and see how far Bangor, how far Cheverus come, and then really to see how Herman. You can't count Herman out simply because they've been there. I mean, they've played a couple state games in a row, so they know how to win. They've got some athletes, but again, Old Town does have Sage Evans, and Sage was the Big East Player of the Year last year, and Michaela Emerson. So they've got two established starters. So they're going to be a little bit ahead of Herman. Herman's projected best player was Jade Lehman, transferred from Bucksport. Poor girl just got hurt. Probably going to miss the whole season as she did a year ago with a season-ending injury. And I hope she can come back. Or just sad to see somebody, a young player as talented as she is, and a chance to prove herself. She was a leading scorer, Adam, during the COVID year. Yeah. But she just hasn't played since, and it's just a tragedy. So hopefully she may come back at the end of the season. We'll keep our fingers crossed. Anyway, so what's on your plate?
Well, yesterday on Monday and Tuesday night, what's this, Wednesday? Yeah, Tuesday night I covered Bangor's home opener against Nokomis, and there were a lot of eyeballs on that game because everyone knows last year Nokomis had Cooper and Ace Flag, the talk of the town, talk of the state, won the Class A title over Falmouth, and then the Flag twins transferred. They left, and so leaves a pretty big hole on a Nokomis team that some people still expect to be really good. I expect them to be good. They bring back 5 players, and last night they beat Bangor 39-26. They did not hit a 3-pointer. They were 0 for probably double digits on threes, but they played really good defense. And Madden White, who was probably their 3rd best player last year, was the guy starting the season for them and will be going forward. He had 19 and did it everywhere. He's a really good playmaker. The offense runs through him. He plays really strong defense, and his shot really wasn't falling in the first half, but he kept it going, and I think he had 12 in the second half.
Another player played on an AAU team with the Flags.
Yeah, Dawson Townsend
Yeah.
Was hurt. He didn't play yesterday, but he'll be definitely a factor. And another guy, Grady Hartsgrove,
Yeah,
was probably their 2nd most important player yesterday. He moved the ball really well, really good defense. And so Nokomis will be better. They won't shoot that poorly ever again. I don't think it's going to be hard.
Townsend back.
Yeah, they'll get Townsend
Yeah.
back, and they'll get into that really interesting Class A North with Brewer and Skowhegan, which we saw already. Brewer and Skowhegan played in opening night when Larry was watching Bangor Chevrolet. Brewer beat Skowhegan 60-37.
Wow.
So
And Skowhegan was picked to win.
yeah, they had
Big
the
East.
most coaches poll first place votes for A North over. They had 7, Brewer had 2. Skowhegan, I guess, having some guys trying to work back into the team after injuries, but Brewer made a statement, and it's going to all run through Brady Saunders, who had 22 points, and Brewer yesterday beat Mesolonsky by a good amount also. So that A North is going to be real interesting. Nokomis just played Bangor, then they have Brewer on Friday, and they have Skowhegan, I think, on Tuesday. So they get to see everybody right off, and we'll learn a little bit at this beginning of the
So
season.
Nokomis must be playing a different style. I mean, when you have the Flags, you just dump it inside and you get instant points.
Right. Yeah,
So are they more of a pressing team now, or
they do. They were all over Bangor.
Yeah.
And the Bangor coach, Brad Libby, said they wanted to cut down on turnovers, and they did, based on what they did, how many times they turned it over against Chevrolet in the season opener. But yeah, Nokomis pressed them, were right all over the ball handler, and then on offense, the ball moves quite a bit.
Yeah.
It touches a lot of hands. And Madden White and Hartsgrove were the 2 that were kind of making it all happen. So I'm interested to see how this Nokomis team grows. They got a real good coach with Earl Anderson, as everyone knows.
yeah.
And so this is just the beginning. A North is just going to be really exciting to watch for me. So tonight I have Herman and Orono. We'll learn about those 2 teams a little bit. I'm excited about that Orono team. That's a lot of transfers from that football team that went to the state title game in 8-man football. Pierce Walston had 26 in their opener win. So I'm just very excited to see that.
they've been right there for years.
Yeah.
Top 4, top 5
Yep.
points usually.
Yeah. So I think this is definitely a year that they can kind of make some noise. Herman, I don't know too much about, honestly, hand up. And so that's why I'm looking forward to tonight to see, because it's a good test. Orono is a good group to kind of test yourself with. So we'll see about them. I know Ellsworth has been coming out strong already. Chance Mercier, I think, had 37 in his season opener. They're trying to get back to the Class B title. So
Yeah, they're a factor too.
Yeah.
But every year. Yeah.
exactly. Right. So I hope to see them soon. Anything else, Larry, that you got going on this
No, we
week?
got high school hockey getting going, Bangor Hampton game tonight, and
Yep.
then we've got, again, of course, the girls team, the Penobscot Pioneers.
Yep.
They won their opener, that team comprised of 7 schools from
Yeah.
our area.
Right.
Great to see, and then, but when they lost their second game because they were down to 10 players due to the
Right.
flu, they had
Yep.
a lot of sickness, and we were talking about that earlier, before we came on here. A lot of schools are going through that right now with
Yeah.
depleted lineups. I think you were mentioning a situation too with,
Yeah, they were supposed to play the St. Dom's girls team tonight, the hockey team,
Yeah.
but St. Dom's only has 6 players that
yeah,
don't have the flu right now. So they're going to postpone that. I know that there's schools all over the state that are closing for a couple days because teachers are getting sick. So
Yeah.
that's going to be something that teams are going to have to deal with and adjust with, and maybe depth becomes a factor in this regular season, but yeah, you're right. Bangor Hamden boys tonight. Bangor lost their opener against Edward Little 6-4.
But Edward Little was very, very good last year.
Yep.
Bangor is in a rebuilding mode. They lost Jake Hersher, outstanding goaltender.
Right.
He graduated. So yeah, I know they're going to be rebuilding. Hamden lost to Camden Hills
Mhm.
in the riding final last year.
Yes.
Camden
Yeah.
in Class B.
Right.
And then Camden Hills, they lost some key players, but they've got some good players back. They'll be good. Hammond, I think, will be good. Old Town Orioles in kind of a rebuild, and then we'll see what they have up in Presque Isle. But and again, in mid-May, I mean, Waterville, Winslow have now been joined by Gardner. I mean, you've got three schools that have won state championships, but have, you know, it was Waterville, Winslow last year. Adam, they played 5 games because of injuries and other situations. That's all they played.
Yeah.
And those 2 schools were staples for high school hockey.
Right.
Waterville and A, and Winslow and B. They were both hit hard because kids aren't playing.
Mhm.
The youth teams are really depleted, so they had to collaborate on a team.
Yep.
It was like 5 years after Waterville won the state A title.
Yeah.
They had so few skaters, they had to combine with Winslow. And it got so bad last year. Now they've combined with Gardner, which won state B championship. So you've got those three schools together.
Yeah.
That's, but you know, and I'm very thankful for the Maine Principal Association for being so understanding and letting teams be developed from 5 or 6, 7, even 8 schools, just so that kids can have an opportunity to participate. It's just where we are. Kids aren't playing sports as much as they used to. It's just, so you have these teams that are on the cusp of losing their teams.
The programs. Yeah.
I mean, Massabesic girls got to the semifinals last year.
Right. In basketball.
AA North, and they don't have enough players.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a school of 894 kids.
It's crazy.
You know, it's just, so that's the world we're living in right now. And you know, but again, if co-op teams are and 8-man football, I mean, those things are saving high school sports in the state of Maine.
Yeah. I'm really excited about 8-man football and where it's going, because when it started, there was a lot of coaches and players that, you know, apprehensive about it and nervous about what it was going to be and what if it was, you know, the same kind of football and whatnot. But it seems like teams go through a year of it and love it and are really thankful that.
And you just had a story on 8-man soccer.
Yeah, they're going to start 8-man soccer. They're going to pull some teams, about 20 teams on boys and girls from the north and the south, and make 8-man soccer from a lot of teams. And it's just Class D teams, but it's teams down east and teams up in the county. So that'll be really interesting to help kids and teams still play soccer. So whatever we got to do, and the MPA is doing, I think, a really good job. You're right, of just letting the kids continue to play, and that's really the whole
I would
thing.
assume they'll make adjustments to it. I would assume, because they do in football, that the 8v8 soccer would be the pitch would be, or as we say in England, the pitch.
Yeah, the pitch, right.
In Maine, of course, we say the field, but will be a little smaller, I would think.
I would think.
I haven't
Yeah.
researched that because it hasn't become a reality yet, but it sounds like it's going to. And again, anything that saves a sport is well worth doing.
Yeah, Mike Bisson told me real quick that it still has to be in NFHS rules, but I'm not sure if the NFHS has anything, you know, in their rule books about 8-man. The 8-man football field is smaller and thinner, so I would assume that the soccer fields would be similar. So we'll see. They have till July to hammer down the teams in the group, and then they'll figure out more and more as it goes. So I'm sure we'll get more information, but I'm excited for that.
No, it is anything like that, you know, anything like that, like we said, that extends the sport.
Yep.
And it gives kids an opportunity to participate. I mean, you know, when schools add sports, like volleyball's been a big
that's growing really well.
And of course, you were in Lewiston, where you had a pocket of lacrosse, and lacrosse has been up here for 5 or 6 years. Another opportunity for kids. Wrestling, in the winter too. I mean, all these sports are valuable, and we got to keep going.
Right. Yeah. So I'm glad that volleyball, yeah, is popping up more and more in different schools, and lacrosse is becoming bigger, you're right, so. We're in good shape overall, and then the
Yep.
co-op teams, if we have to have them to keep playing, that's fine.
All
All right,
I think
Larry.
this is show number 1. We hope you enjoyed it. We really appreciate you sitting in with us, and hopefully we'll get better.
Yeah,
We will. We
think we
promise.
will.
We'll get better.
yeah, we're planning on this being a weekly thing, and so this is episode 1. Thank you, Larry, for helping us
Thank
out,
you, Adam. Appreciate it.
and we'll see you next week.
We'll be back next week.